We probably all suffer from a minor phobia or two, but some people's lives are virtually debilitated by their fears. This list looks at 10 more of the most unusual phobias that afflict people in modern days. If you suffer from any of these phobias, be sure to tell us about it in the comments. Agyrophobics have a fear of crossing streets, highways and other thoroughfares, or a fear of thoroughfares themselves. This, of course, makes it very difficult to live comfortably in a city. The word comes from the Greek gyros, which means turning or whirling, as the phobic avoids the whirl of traffic. The bizarre fear of cooking is called megirokophobia, which comes from the Greek word megerokos, which means a person skilled in cooking. This disorder can be debilitating and potentially lead to unhealthy eating if one lives alone. Sufferers of megerokos can feel extremely intimidated by people with skills in cooking. Pediophobia is the irrational fear of dolls. Not just scary dolls, all dolls. The fear is a horror of a false representation of sentient beings, so it includes robots and mannequins, which make it decidedly difficult to go out. Sigmund Freud believed the disorder springs from a fear of the doll coming to life, and roboticist Masahiro Mori expanded on that theory by stating that the more human-like something becomes, the more repellent its non-human aspects appear. Admittedly, some dinner conversations can be very awkward. Some people are so terrified of the idea of speaking to another person over dinner that they avoid dining out. In times gone by, there were strict rules of etiquette that helped a person to deal with these situations. In today's society, in which rules and formality are out the window, it is possible the more controlled nature of a dinner party may lie partly behind this phobia. Isoptrophobia is a fear of mirrors, in the broad sense, or more specifically, the fear of being put into contact with the spiritual world through a mirror. Sufferers experience undue anxiety, even though they realize their fear is irrational. Because their fear often is grounded in superstitions, they may worry that breaking a mirror will bring bad luck, or looking into a mirror will put them in contact with a supernatural world inside the glass. Demonophobia is an abnormal and persistent fear of evil supernatural beings, in persons who believe such beings exist and roam freely to cause harm. Those who suffer from this phobia realize their fear is excessive or irrational. Nevertheless, they become unduly anxious when discussing demons, when venturing alone into woods or a dark house, or when watching films about demonic possession and exorcism. Sufferers are most likely to be recognized by the strings of garlic. Of all the phobias on this list, pantherophobia is probably the most common. It is, as stated above, the fear of one's mother-in-law. I am sure that most married people have, at one time or another, suffered from this terrible fear. This fear is one that is so common in Western society that it frequently appears in movies and other forms of entertainment. Of the many available therapies for this illness of the mind, divorce seems to be the most popular. A related phobia to pantherophobia is novercophobia, which is a fear of your stepmother, the most famous sufferer of which is Cinderella. Ergophobia is the fear of work. It is downright creepy that people suffer from this type of phobia. Lorna Liebenberg is a self-confessed ergophobia sufferer. For 17 years, Lorna has hardly worked. Whenever she thinks of work, an overwhelming feeling of fear cripples her. Lorna's case was so bad that she was always getting a new job, and with each new job, her fright increased. Despite the fact that she sometimes had good bosses who were like fathers to her, she still couldn't help fearing the workplace environment. Unsurprisingly, she has struggled with great financial difficulty throughout her life. Of all phobias out there, ergophobia is one we do not want to hear about.